there. The phone call came at 6 a.m. The kind that makes your heart drop because nobody calls with good news before sunrise. I answered, expecting a family emergency. Maybe something wrong with my elderly sister. Instead, I heard my daughter's voice, shaking with what I thought was tears. "Mom, I need you to keep working. Just a few more years. Please, for your grandson." That's when I knew. This wasn't about an emergency. This was about money. My money. The retirement I'd earned after 46 years of back-breaking work. And the answer that came out of my mouth surprised even me. Absolutely not. My name is Margaret. I'm 68 years old. And this is the story of how my entitled daughter tried to steal my retirement. And how one phone call revealed the monster I'd accidentally created. But let me tell you what happened the morning after I said no. Because that's where this story really gets interesting. And trust me, you won't believe what she did next. The morning after I refused, my phone rang again. Same daughter. Different tone. Her voice was ice cold. "Mum, if you won't help me, then be ready for the worst." Then she hung up. I sat there, coffee cup trembling in my hand, wondering what the worst meant. I'd find out soon enough. But first, let me take you back to where this nightmare began, because the signs were always there. I just refused to see them. 28 years ago, I gave birth to Jessica in a small hospital in Ohio. Her father, my husband Tom, died in a car accident when she was just 4 years old. I was 40, widowed, with a young daughter and barely enough money to cover the funeral. I worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3. I cleaned houses during the day, waitressed at night, and did people's taxes during tax season. I slept maybe 4 hours a night. But Jessica never went without. Piano lessons, dance classes, the brand name sneakers all her friends had. Summer camps. I sacrificed everything to give her the childhood I never had. Maybe that was my first mistake. Because while I was breaking my back to provide, I forgot to teach her the value of what she was receiving. When she was 16, she demanded a car. Not asked. Demanded. Everyone has one. Mum, I'm the only loser taking the bus. I worked extra shifts for 6 months and bought her a used Honda. She cried when she saw it. Not happy tears. Disappointed tears. "This is so embarrassing," she said. "It's not even new. I should have taken those keys back right then." But I didn't. I apologized. I actually apologized for not buying her a better car. Clash came next. Jessica wanted to go to a private university across the country. The tuition was $45,000 a year. I had maybe $15,000 saved. "That's okay, Mum," she said sweetly. "You can take out loans. Parent plus loans. That's what parents do." And like a fool, I signed my name on loan documents that would follow me into retirement. $180,000 in debt so my daughter could get a degree in communications and party for 4 years. She came home maybe twice during those 4 years. Called even less. She always called when she needed money. In 2 years after graduation, Jessica moved to Los Angeles to become an influencer. Yes, an influencer. She created an Instagram account where she posted photos of herself in expensive clothes, at expensive restaurants, pretending to live a lifestyle she couldn't afford. And who do you think was funding this fantasy? She'd call me crying, "Mom, I need $2,000 for a photography workshop. This is my career. You have to invest in me." Or, "Mom, I need $3,000 for new camera equipment." Everyone else's parents support their dreams. And I'd wire the money, pulling it from my retirement account. Telling myself this was temporary that she'd make it big soon and pay me back. She never did. The influencer career never took off. Turns out, people can smell inauthenticity through a screen. But Jessica refused to get a regular job. "I'm not working retail, Mum. I have a college degree." So she floated between unpaid internships and networking opportunities while I continued funding her life. Then came Brandon. She met him at some influencer party. He was handsome, charming, and completely broke. A musician who was about to get signed. Jessica was 27, and within 3 months, she was pregnant. I thought maybe, just maybe, this would be the wake-up call she needed. Maybe motherhood would force her to grow up. I was wrong. Jessica called me from the hospital hours after giving birth. "Mum, I need you to come to LA. I need help with the baby." I was 65 and still working full-time, but I flew out for 2 weeks. I changed diapers, did midnight feedings, cooked, cleaned. Brandon was useless, sitting around playing guitar while his girlfriend and newborn son needed him. But Jessica defended him. "He's working on his music. Mom, he's going to be famous. Then we'll be set." Spoiler alert, he never got famous. What he did do was leave. When my grandson was 6 months old, Brandon packed his guitar and left in the middle of the night. No note, no child support, no forwarding address, just gone. And Jessica? She called me, hysterical. "Mum, I can't do this alone. I need you." Here's where I made another mistake. Instead of telling her to figure it out, to get a job, to grow up and face the consequences of her choices, I sent money. Lots of money. Rent money. Diaper money. Formula money. Formula money. Money for a nanny because Jessica couldn't possibly work and take care of her baby. For 3 years, I funded her entire life. I was 65, 66, 67 years old, working full-time while my daughter sat in a California apartment, doing Instagram stories about single mum life, and asking her followers to buy her coffee through Cash App. My retirement date was circled on my calendar in red marker. November 1st, 2 weeks after my 68th birthday. I'd been dreaming about it for years. No more 5 a.m. wake-ups. No more standing on my feet for 8 hours. No more bosses half my age telling me to work faster. I'd done my time. 46 years of hard work. I'd raised a daughter alone. I'd paid my dues. I deserved rest. I'd planned everything. I was going to move to a small town in North Carolina where the cost of living was lower. I'd found a cute little cottage near the mountains, $800 a month. All day, I'd spend my days reading, gardening, maybe volunteering at the local library. Nothing fancy. Just peace. Quiet. The retirement I'd earned. But 2 months before my retirement date, Jessica called. "Mum, we need to talk. I'm struggling really hard out here. My rent went up. Daycare is so expensive. I can barely afford groceries." I braced myself, knowing what was coming. "Oh, I need you to help me for a little while longer. Just until I get on my feet." "Honey, I'm retiring in 2 months," I said gently. "I can't keep sending money. I've given you everything I have." There was a long silence. Then her voice changed, hardened. "What do you mean you can't? You're still working. You're still getting a paycheck. A paycheck that's going toward my own bills." "Jessica, I'm 68 years old. I've worked for 46 years. I'm tired." "So you're choosing yourself over your grandson," she snapped. "You're going to let a 3-year-old suffer because you want to retire and read books." My chest tightened. "That's not fair. I've supported you for 3 years. I've given you over $100,000. Vert, I can't do it anymore. You need to get a job. She laughed. Actually laughed. A job, Mum? I have a 3-year-old. Daycare costs more than most jobs pay. And I'm building my brand online. I'm so close to monetizing my platform. I just need a little more time. Jessica, you've been building your brand for 10 years. It's time to face reality. You need stable income. You need to provide for your son. I can't believe you're doing this, she hissed. After everything I've been through. After Brandon left me. After I had to raise a baby alone. You're not alone, I said, my voice shaking. I've been there every step of the way. But I can't work forever. I'm exhausted, honey. My body hurts. My back hurts. I need to rest. Fine, she said coldly. Retire. Be selfish. But don't expect me to bring your grandson around anymore. Don't expect to be part of his life. She hung up. I sat there, phone in hand, tears streaming down my face. She'd just weaponized my grandson. My sweet little boy who called me Mimi and drew me pictures and asked when I was coming to visit. She was going to use him to manipulate me. But I held firm. I didn't call back. I didn't apologize. For the first time in 28 years, I didn't give in. That's when the real nightmare began. The phone call at 6 a.m. 2 weeks later. Jessica, demanding I delay my retirement to give her son a decent life. And when I said no, her threat. Be ready for the worst. The next morning, my phone exploded. Text messages. Dozens of them. From family members I hadn't spoken to in years. Cousins, aunts, old family friends. All saying the same thing. How could you abandon your daughter and grandson? Shame on you. I was confused until my sister called. Margaret, what's going on? Jessica posted something on Facebook and people are furious. I logged into Facebook for the first time in months. And there it was. A long post from Jessica, public, shared hundreds of times. My mother is retiring and abandoning me and my son. After everything I've been through, after raising a child alone, my own mother is choosing her comfort over her grandson's well-being. She has the ability to help us, but refuses. I don't know how we'll survive. Please keep us in your prayers. The comments were brutal. People calling me selfish, heartless, a terrible mother and grandmother. People I didn't even know were weighing in, calling me a monster. My own family members were commenting, saying they were disappointed in me. My hands shook as I read. She'd completely twisted the narrative. Made herself the victim. Made me the villain. Didn't mention the $100,000 I'd given her. Didn't mention the years of support. Just painted me as a cruel mother abandoning her struggling daughter. I wanted to respond. To defend myself. To tell the truth. But I knew better. Holiday. Anything I said would be used against me. So I deactivated my Facebook account and blocked Jessica's number. But she wasn't done. 3 days later, my landlord called. Margaret, I got a strange call from a woman claiming to be your daughter. She said you're mentally declining and might not be able to live alone safely. She asked if I'd noticed any concerning behavior. My blood ran cold. She was trying to make me look incompetent, unstable, building a case that I wasn't capable of making my own decisions about retirement. Then my bank called. Ms. Thompson, we had someone attempt to access your account claiming to be your power of attorney. We denied the request, but we wanted to alert you. Jessica was trying to access my money. My retirement savings. The accounts I'd been building for decades. I drove straight to the bank and changed everything. New passwords. New security questions. Added alerts for any unusual activity, say. Then I went to a lawyer and drew up official documents, making it crystal clear that Jessica had no power of attorney. No access to my finances, no legal claim to my assets. The lawyer looked at me sadly. This happens more than you'd think. Adult children who've been financially enabled their whole lives often react aggressively when the money stops. What should I do? I asked. Document everything. Save those texts. Screenshot that Facebook post. If she escalates, you may need a restraining order. A restraining order. Against my own daughter. The baby I'd sacrificed everything for. But it got worse. Jessica started calling my workplace, telling my supervisor I was having episodes and shouldn't be working. My supervisor, bless her, called me immediately. Margay, I don't know what's going on with your family, but these calls are inappropriate. You're one of our best employees. Don't let this derail your retirement. The breaking point came 1 week before my retirement date. I came home from work to find Jessica sitting on my doorstep. She looked terrible. Hair unwashed, eyes red, holding my sleeping grandson. She said, her voice breaking. Please, I'm begging you. Just 1 more year. Work for 1 more year. Help me get stable. I'll pay you back, I promise. I looked at my grandson, 3 years old, innocent in all of this. Then I looked at my daughter, 28 years old, still unable to take care of herself. And I said the hardest word I've ever had to say. No. No, she repeated, standing up. No. After everything. After I gave you a grandson. You didn't give me anything, Jessica. You had a baby with a man who abandoned you, and I've been funding your life ever since. I love you. I love him. But I can't sacrifice my health and my future anymore. You're going to regret this, she said, her voice shaking with rage. When you're old and alone, and no one's there to take care of you, remember this moment. I'm already old, I said quietly. And I've been alone this whole time, working myself to the bone while you complained that the money wasn't enough. She put my grandson in her car and drove away. I went inside, locked the door, and sobbed. Not because I'd made the wrong choice, but because I'd spent 28 years making the wrong choices. Enabling, rescuing, sacrificing. And now I was paying the price. November 1st came. My retirement date. My co-workers threw me a small party. Cake, cards, hugs, freedom. I walked out of that building for the last time, got in my car, and drove to North Carolina. To my little cottage. To my new life. Jessica didn't call, didn't text, didn't acknowledge my retirement. Radio silence. But 3 months into my retirement, living peacefully in my cottage, reading books on my porch, tending my small garden, I got a letter. From Jessica, handwritten. Mum, I'm sorry for everything. You were right. I wasn't ready to be an adult. I got a job. A real job. Office work. It's hard, but I'm doing it. I found cheaper housing. I'm applying for state assistance for daycare. I'm figuring it out. I don't know if you'll ever forgive me for the things I said and did, but I want you to know that I understand now. I understand what you sacrificed, and I understand why you had to stop. I hope someday we can rebuild our relationship. Your grandson asks about you. He misses you. I miss you too. Love, Jessica. I held that letter for a long time, tears falling onto the paper, smudging the ink. Part of me wanted to call her immediately, to forgive everything, to rush back into her life. But another part of me, the wiser part, knew I needed to proceed carefully. I wrote back. A short letter, Jess said. I'm proud of you for getting a job and taking responsibility. I love you and I miss you both. But I need time. I need to heal from the damage that was done. Let's take this slow. Let's rebuild trust. But know this, I will never again sacrifice my well-being for your comfort. I will help when I can, but I will not rescue you from consequences. If you can accept that, then maybe we have a future. Love, Mum. 6 months have passed since then. Jessica and I talk once a week. Short phone calls where she tells me about work, about my grandson's preschool, about the life she's building. She hasn't asked me for money once. Not once. And slowly, carefully, I'm starting to believe that maybe, just maybe, my refusal to enable her was the greatest gift I could have given. My retirement is everything I dreamed of. Quiet mornings. Bergs. Garden peace. No alarm clocks. No stress. Just life at my own pace. 2. And for the first time in 46 years, I'm not exhausted. People ask me if I regret my decision, if I feel guilty. The answer is no. I did what I had to do to survive. I set a boundary that should have been set decades earlier. And if it took cutting off financial support to force my daughter to grow up, then so be it. 2. Anyone out there supporting adult children who refuse to support themselves, it's okay to say no. It's okay to retire. It's okay to choose yourself. You didn't bring children into this world to work yourself into an early grave funding their irresponsibility. Love them, support them emotionally, but don't sacrifice your future for their comfort. I'm 68 years old. I worked for 46 years. And I absolutely refuse to apologize for retiring. If this story resonated with you, drop a comment and let me know where you're listening from. And if you've ever had to set a boundary with an adult child, share your story. You're not alone. Hit that like button and subscribe because I'll be sharing updates on my relationship with Jessica and my grandson. This story isn't over, but for now, I'm finally at peace.